Two, check 1 2 1 2 1 2. Hold on. It's coming. It's coming. Dr. G, stop coming on the morning. Come on, stop. Be nice. Play nice, Dr. G. It's Monday. 1 2, check 1 2, check 1 2. My internet's warming up. The sun is rising. It's a new week. It's a brand new day. Everybody, please, by the doctor's beautiful face, if you see that little subscribe, you hit that subscribe, hit that bell. Enjoyment in the mornings. Dr. G, subscribe. If you're sick of that face, then look at this one right here. That's a beautiful face in the morning. Thank you, everybody, for being here. It's Monday, May 10th, and I'm a little late, and I apologize. But please subscribe. And if you want to donate a little something, to keep this channel alive, we totally appreciate it, and we need it, and we love you. But on that note, it is that hour. It's coffee talk in the morning. Boom.
It's coffee talk with the Tika. Nothing rhymes with that but chicken tikka. We name drop here with Stephen and all his friends.
Hey, welcome, Dr. G. It is
Good morning.
Good morning. Another week.
Yes.
A new week. May 10th. How was your weekend?
Yeah. It was good. Just got some gardening time in, a lot of time with Leo, the usual, some good stuff.
Good. No, that's good. Well, I figured we go a 30-minute, usually I pre-record this in Patreon, but to be honest with you, maybe people want to interact with us live, the real people.
Right.
And I'll still do my Patreon live long shows. The sun is coming in on me really hard. I have a hard sun on me, so maybe it's some niceness. I'll get a little color, some vitamin, D.
That angelic look you're going for. Yes.
Well, yeah. But again, like I said, everybody, please share this out. Mondays is going to be health and wellness with Dr. G. He is a legitimate doctor, middle path medicine. A wonderful man to have on the show. If you don't know, if you're first time tuning in, the guy is health, wealth, knowledge, and also he's a great gardener. But
thank you.
Come on, I gotta bust chops here a little bit, but let's take things a little serious. It was for me personally, it was a rough weekend. My weekend started out really rough, and it was all over the news, and that our friend Tawny Kitaen passed away suddenly. We don't know the cause of death, and nobody knows what happens, but I know it happened, and she's not here no more. But her memory is still here, and maybe that's the sun, her coming, over here. Tawny was a great person, and it's weird. I'm having a hard time and I wanted to talk about this with you for selfish reasons, and maybe everybody in the chat has gone through this, and unfortunately in life we are going to go through this, and these are things we can't escape: losing loved ones, losing people that matter to you, and when they're gone, it's so final. There's no answers, and then you look nowadays, you're looking at your iPhone, you're looking at old messages from them, you're staring at pictures. I mean, me and Tawny, in the short time we got to know each other, I felt so connected to her as one of my closest friends. We would speak every day. We would laugh and banter. We were both immature. She was a sweetheart. Okay.
Yes.
And everybody in the chat, I brought these great people. We're meeting all these cool people from this YouTube show. So I go through I'm very emotional, and I'm very she was my cheerleader. There's times I'm feeling down about the channel. I'm like, do people really care about the channel? But we're human beings out there, everybody. And every YouTube guy that's out there doing it, or woman that's doing a show, they're a human being. They go through emotions. Should they keep doing the show? Should they not do the show? We're human beings. I would get down, and she would always be in my corner. You got something really good. And I refuse to ever change who I am, and I'm always going to be that guy that's going to talk from the heart. I can't write stuff down. I can't. It's just not who I am. It's not how I roll. But I will say this: grieving. I'm having let me be honest. It's a motherfucking bitch, man. I'm having a hard time with it.
Right.
I'm trying to. That's why I decided maybe Mondays we'll just start going live in the morning. You know,
Okay.
even if it's only 30 minutes, and then I could maybe on Thursdays rebroadcast the Ochos. But I'm having a hard time right now, Dr. Gene. I'm rambling. I'm looking at
Doing fine,
pictures.
man.
I'm trying to put together a show for Tawny and I for Sat. I couldn't even do it. Couldn't even
Right.
get through without a tear in my eye. So my question is, how do we get past this hump about this grieving, getting depressed, want to stop living when somebody passes away? Well, what do you do? What's a normal person supposed to do?
Oh, thanks. I was, obviously for the same thing this weekend, I was, wanting to wait to see if you were going to bring up the passing of Tawny, and what I
Thank you, kid. Yeah.
and I agree with Jeff there. That's, I've been through this, unfortunately, with different patients on different levels, from friends to everything else like that, hundreds, if not thousands of times. And what Jeff was saying is so true, is there's no right way to grieve. It's like when people are trying to give advice about how to be pregnant and there's so many such important things in your life, how to have a delivery, how to grieve is the same thing. There's, no matter what your spiritual practices are, when something like this hit close, there's no right way to grieve. Just let yourself grieve. Just like, even in our country, we should have, we're one of the only countries that doesn't have paid time off for delivery of a baby. We should have paid time off for grieving too. I know that seems like an odd thing, but it's so tough to go through. And what you're talking about, Stefan, is there's no right time. You're just going through these different memories and locking them in, because as long as you carry forward the memory of that person, they don't really die. And that's true on many levels. And so what I would tell you is that you're supposed to cry, you're supposed to laugh inappropriately, and how long it's going to take is different for everybody. For some people, they can pass through these stages in months, and other people it takes years to go on. And so with kind of flashbacks and things as well, there are books on grieving. There's the local hospice. So for everybody out there, if you're having trouble with grieving, contact your local hospice. It doesn't matter if your person that passed with you actually was through that hospice. They have great grief counselors and people that help take you through these stages, and that you realize how normal it is. And that's who your local hospice organization is the best place to contact in terms of grief counseling, because they're used to dealing with this. That's my first advice to almost all of my patients. If they feel like this is what they're feeling is not normal or isn't going to go away. And so anyways, and that would be for you too, Stefan, is, listen, this is getting help going through these tough things in life is just normal. It's like this active speaking we do. Very few people have learned how to speak effectively to their lover. You had, John Gray and, men are from Mars and women from Venus, and how difficult it is to just even communicate amongst our people of the opposite sex. This is another thing that people haven't been really trained about, because you think about growing up, we didn't talk about dying. We didn't talk about sex. Okay,
It was hidden. It was hidden from my family.
So you don't talk about these things, and so how is a person supposed to grow up and know how to deal with these things? So drugs are normal. Death is normal. These have to become part of our conversation so that we can be healthy human beings. And so you're right. Have you had probably any training in this? And I, again, talk about going through medical schools and residency as like a smack in the face of dealing with death. And so there's some of the most intense memories of my training usually revolved around deaths, which doctors often take as failures, by the way, everybody is. So even when Tawny passed, my immediate thing is to think of myself as a failure. I wonder how I failed her as a friend, as a doctor. I wonder why she didn't reach out. All these things is like, those are things that go through, even though I wasn't very close with Tawny. I liked Tawny, but you wonder, and it's such a normal thing to feel, what else could I have done? What was my last interaction with her? Was I as present as I could have been? And so did I make myself open when I had thoughts about, gosh, I wonder if I should reach out to her, and I hadn't. I thought about that. So these are normal feelings you go through when somebody passes and you don't have a chance to speak to them again.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot of stuff, and I knew she was having like an asthma, the bronchial. I'm not a doctor, and I just go to the doctor, go to the doctor. We were talking about that, but there's so much,
Hmm.
when you're losing people, you start questioning, what could have I done? What could have I done to help
Right.
this. But when somebody's sick too, there's nothing really you can do. Unfortunately, when it's sudden and it
Hmm.
hits you, like nobody's ready for it. Even when people
Right.
are going through something and they
Right.
know they're dying, unfortunately,
Hmm.
cancer or whatever. I don't think you're ever ready.
Right.
Selfish reasons.
Right.
We get selfish. We want to hold on to with these people. When
Right.
Zach Nielsen was on the show and
Right.
talked about loss, and he
Right.
was talking about why is it okay to put out animals out, and
Right.
a lot of us
Well,
get
I had
selfish.
a conversation with Zach back when he was trying to look for, the right to die and having doctors. And I said, listen, I will come down there and be one of those doctors, but you need somebody else. But I will drive down to LA to be with you, because he couldn't find people who would help him
Yeah,
pass with legitimacy and his own way. And so we've taken that away in our society, because once again, we're so afraid of death. Your doctors are afraid of death. Death was the enemy through my residency. So we're taught almost to be afraid of death, which is a very unnatural way of looking at. It's a very Western cultured thing to do, is to be so afraid of death. And so, and yeah,
thank
I
you, Steve.
cannot. Yeah, thank you, Steve. So something like this is supposed to capture all of our attention and say, wow. Because when I met Tawny, I was like, wow, this is a real person. Isn't just a pinup or whatever, my image of her was. And so so yes, it's tragic when somebody her age. I mean, again, she's our age,
Mm.
goes. But it's a time for all of us to catch our attention and say, listen, let's make each interaction with everybody we meet optimal. The people we don't need in our life, get them out of your life. The people that you can, so you have the time to have legit interactions with the people you love. When you say, how are you doing? And they say, fine, that you actually take the time to ask, are you fine today? Because we have these reflex answers, and we're not connecting as people as much as you can. Most of your connections, I'm guessing, were just all online, right? With Tawny? I mean,
Yeah, we didn't know each other.
right.
It was all online, and then
Yeah.
it became the first time I met
On the
her
phone.
was that show. I almost was going to
Right.
cancel. She was going to cancel. I tried hard to get her. Then I was like, and then you met her that night. It was
Oh, sweet.
a Talking Wax one, and then
Mhm.
afterwards we just became like really friends. Her, Amber, and I, and on the phone, where she like family. Like it just connected. You
Mhm.
connect with somebody, and you feel like, wow, this was. We knew the same people in the circle, but she was, a whole nother platform. She was an icon. I mean, come on, she was
Mhm.
the face of the '80s. Every guy
Mhm.
wanted to be with her, and every girl wanted to be her. She was,
Right.
one of a kind. But she was a beautiful soul. I got to see her,
Right.
and I guess what I fell in love with was, wow, she's as silly as me. And we both, our last conversation was, she goes, we travel, because she was thinking big things that we're going to be doing, and she wanted to do. When we travel, you're going on the back of the plane. This was the last one of the last conversations. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
The back? She goes, yeah, I'm going to be in first class, and you're such a brat, because we would bust each other's chops. You're such a brat. You're going to sit in coach. I go, no, I'm not sitting in coach, because I'm sitting next to you, because I'm not dealing with turbulence by myself. I have a problem, and if I'm going to deal with this stress, I don't want to go nowhere. I'm sitting next to you on the plane, and I'm going to just bother you. She goes, oh my God, me too. I can't handle turbulence. I go, see, even when you want to punish me, you still can't be without me. You have to have me next. And we would laugh about these
Mhm.
things. And I
Right.
I was glad to make her smile. And the last, few months that we got to know each other, and
Right.
we got to make. She loved the knowledge that you have. I go, yeah, he talks a little too much, but she would laugh, and I'm gonna miss, like this morning when I get ready for work, I would
Mhm.
wake her up and I go, because she wanted a kid, another baby. I go, be careful with Jasper. I go, I'm 53. It's very hard. And then she'd hear the yelling. Exactly, like I'll go through these stages. Exactly a week ago, I was watching Brooklyn, and Brooklyn was singing. I go, Tawny, and she's howling. I go, watch this, and we FaceTime each other. She goes, oh my God, so cute. I go, come over here and babysit for me then, okay? You come here, and
Right.
we laugh about it. She goes, I need to sleep, and I go, what are you waking me up for? And I'm gonna miss all this childish because
Right.
I'm immature, and I had a friend to banter with. There's a few friends I banter with, Eric Singer, and you know,
Yeah.
she was one of them. Once in a while, Dice will give a call and we'll talk about it. It was one of those things where we would talk about nothing. It's
Right.
everybody out there. It's wonderful to have a friend where you don't have to feel you have to talk. You just talk about nothing,
Right.
or maybe not talk. Just talk ridiculous.
Right.
That's a friend.
Right.
It's a friend, and I'm going to miss that. And I'm being selfish, but the main thing is, I'm being selfish. My heart goes out to her children, and how do they deal with it?
Of
They're
course.
young ladies, early 20s, mid 20s. How did they deal losing them on Mother's Day? It's how do you deal with this, Dr. G? What advice? I know there's books. As a young kid, where do you go? Depression will start hitting you. Where do you go?
I have not found that the reading books has helped, and this is for guys. I've been doing this for a few decades now. Going to books for this subject doesn't seem to help much, and so even though there's good books, Good Grief, and others that are out there about dealing with the stages, and the most people understand the stages that you go through for this, but it's almost like putting it at an intellectual level. This is occurring at an emotional level. That's why interactions with people. So talking to a therapist, is your therapist able to deal with grief? Like I said, start with your local hospice organization if you don't know somebody. But this is something where we all need some training on, because what you're talking about too is I've known so many people who thought they were going to be okay with this dying process, but when it gets there and their family gets there, it's a completely different issue. So this is an important time for us to understand the sanctity of life, the importance of our own interactions when we're alive. That's the most important thing, because the things that people regret the most when they talk with me was that they didn't interact in the way you just talked about. Their last conversation didn't go well. They weren't as present. They argued, of course, so the main thing in terms of this preparation for death is living, and so because the saying is we all die, and how many of us truly live, and so the way that people get over this isn't that they can make these memories go away. It's about them turning their interactions to their best friends, their loved ones, and making sure they bring them into their lives so that their interactions are what they need to be in that moment. That is how you heal. That is how you take the cherished memory of the passing of a loved one. You bring, including your rawness as well, into that moment with them. You don't hide the tears. You don't hide the thing. You interact with the people who are living, and that's exactly true, Lynn. You recognize that we only have so much time for people, and there's a lot of people out there that are true life sucks. Sorry, but they are, and so you really actually spend your time with the people you love, but in the most present way, and so that's how you heal from this. You really actually are moving forward. You can't move backward, because once again, that doesn't work anyways. And so the way to heal from my patients, and what I've learned from my patients, is that the ones that heal the best, they move forward. And I'm talking about being present with the people they are. It's certainly not about replacing a lover or whoever died at things. This is about being present with the people you love. You heal by learning from that. The regrets that you have, write them down. Of course, journaling is very, very useful through these stages, so you can look at that. Please journal, everybody. Journaling is so important because you think you're going to remember exactly what things about the person, but also your emotions at that time. And you look back a few years later, sometimes you go, wow, I forgot that I felt that way. Okay, I've never felt this way before. Then a present moment thing, and then you look back and go, yeah, I've felt that way, and I kind of buried that feeling, which is, again, means you didn't actually heal from it. There's another book I think it's called Feelings Buried Alive Never Die. And so make sure you're present with each person, so that, because that's how we prepare from this, is that when the next person passes in your life, and that will always happen, you would have been with them in a way that when you go and you grieve their loss, you don't think of anything. It's like, gosh, I wish we had really done this together. You've done those things. So how you pay this forward, so to speak, is to make sure you're present. You take the feelings of grief, whatever regrets that you have, whatever things, and you apply them into your life, okay? In terms of these are the things I'm going to be with a person, how I'm going to be present with people. And that brings your attention into this moment, because otherwise what's happening is you're looking backwards, and looking backwards is how we stay depressed. And so that's
looking
the best
backwards
advice.
is how we stay depressed. It's true.
Yeah.
Last night, before talking wax, I would do 7 o'clock. I would do don't you start me with Tawny, and I was trying so hard to make these videos, and I would stop, I would tear up, I would text somebody and tell them how I'm feeling, what's going on. I'd tear up. It's crazy how these people. Somebody, you know what's a blessing that I stopped and I go, thank God that Tawny, the Colonel, the Zacks, they came in my life. These people came in my life, and they learned that I do have a heart, and they touch me. So that's where I started taking, take the negative, try to turn it, and it just made me look around, appreciate your life right now, appreciate your daughter. Stop, and that expression, smell the roses, and stop and slow down. Don't worry so much about the YouTube channel. Don't worry so much about the negativity, the people that talk bad about you. Don't even respond. Who cares? Stop. Concentrate on the good things, making good things, and your family, and a small circle of people like this. That's what I've learned from those 3 different. Tawny was like the final one. Okay, I was breathing, but looking back really can depress you.
Yeah,
it really can. That's a good one, Dr. G.
Yeah, it does. And there's a phase that you go through right now where you're doing the videos, and you obviously have more interactions in a way you want to do a tribute tour and things like that. That will keep you in that headspace, obviously. Looking backward is what I'm saying. But that can be part of your healing, too, is like you process these things. And putting them on tape is a way of journaling, right? Okay, so when you put these things out there, it's like, how did I feel about this? And it's all on video.
Well, the show is actually being a therapy for me right now. In a crazy thing, there's times that I wanted to, trust me, Saturday I was I didn't want to do my shows. I was going to not do no more. I didn't want to call no more guests to come on the show. I was done. Just check. It's like Starbucks. Are you hiring? That's it. I was done. Not that I'm making money doing this show, but you know what? I was just, depressed, hard. If I was feeling like this, then I was feeling depressed for her children. Oh my God, what are they going through?
Right. You have to be careful about that trap. Is stay present with your emotions, because they're responsible for their emotions, and etc. So be kind with whatever interactions you have with other people. But this is kind of the snowball effect that can occur. Is you start to say, I feel selfish over me. Just think how the daughter feels, or how the lover feels, or whatever else. And of course, they have the right to their feelings too, but you have the right to yours. And so never try to delegitimize your own feelings just because somebody might have the right, quote unquote, to feel more grief than you do. So we have to take all personal responsibility for our own feelings and feel them. Okay, so another kind of trite but true saying is, whatever we resist persists. So if the person takes this moment and drinks through it, okay, so I'm not saying you can't have an occasional drink of alcohol, but we try to drink to drown our sorrow, our grief. That always just sinks things into us as we're repressing feelings. The same thing goes with any other form of stress distraction, is what we call it. So you have to be present with these moments and allow yourself to feel, because the problem that happens is, we talk about how one of my trite but truisms is, the most important things in life are the things you can't measure. Measure everything you can. There's no blood test that proves you're grieving. There's no anything. So this is not something you can deal with rationally. Do you understand that? That's why I don't find reading books which keeps people at a rational level is and especially guys have been taught that thinking reigns over emotions. Okay, it's wrong, everybody. I want to make sure, but many guys believe that if I think strong enough, I can control these emotions. Completely wrong. That will bite you in the ass. Okay, emotions are dealt with on, you're surprising, an emotional level. That's why there's books on emotional intelligence, etc. But especially men are so unhealthy with dealing with their own emotions. This is on average, not you, Stefan. I'm just talking. And so that's why dealing with an emotional things dear family.
Cooking with the Kids, a pastor over the years.
Yes.
I've conducted funerals for over 100
Yeah.
people, many of which
And
have been dear family and friends most of the
and
time.
that's so true, Jeff. As the same thing goes, you're grieving, but to be present with people in their moment of grief, usually you have to separate it out because otherwise you can't be as present because you're grieving too. And it's such an important thing to understand is that for people out there is that we have to kind of when we see somebody really needing our help, we have to bring certain things aside and then deal with our stuff later on so we can be more present with other people.
Yeah.
It's a necessary thing, and only certain people can do this, by the way. And so,
Thank you, Jeff.
so thank you. And so, but for you, I just would tell you is that just the work that you're doing and helping you process these emotions, going through these things, I think will actually kind of probably speed your process just because you're going directly into it. You're allowing yourself to feel things. You're sharing those feelings with other people. That means you're not going to bury the emotions, and that tends to be what the guys do. Especially women do this too, but I'm just saying on average the enculturation has been that guys bury emotions, that I'm gonna rationalize what I'm feeling, that I'm gonna outthink it, and it never ever works. This is not a rational process, folks. And so you actually have to learn to deal with this at the level that it exists, which is your emotions. And so that's why these moments of grief are such great learning experiences for us too. I'm not trying they really are.
Yeah, just saying that too. Yeah, you learn more about yourself. You learn,
Yeah.
I mean, this is life. This is life, and you know what? This is life. I mean, Jeff, Dr. G, you see it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Pastor Jeff sees it a lot in the business that you guys are both in. It's tough, but this show helps me, and I hope it's helping somebody there that's dealing with loss right now, that could relate to what I'm saying, and that's why I do my shows. I want to be able to show my heart because we all have the same heart and we all have the same emotions, and we just maybe can't express it well. And I'm not good at expressing, but I'm sure good at doing this. I'm not good at texting, but I'm better live. So I hope there's somebody out there that we gave some positive information out there that maybe they could seek. How about on YouTube? Is there anything that you ever watch on YouTube or anything that could help you out there?
No, I'm not a podcast person or much of a YouTube person, and so there might be, and I'm not saying there isn't. Everybody, I'm just saying don't try to intellectualize this process. The best thing is to get personal interaction, like with a grief counselor, especially through hospice, because they know how to help you deal with this. Okay, that's the thing, and they will tell you that this is unique for every individual. And yes, your process of sharing right now is helpful for everybody. I mean, the suddenness, because I had a good long interaction with Zach before he passed, and I hope some of the things, because I tried to stay as present as I could, knowing that he was going to die, because we were talking about it and what things he could do to ease the passing, which ways he could work with, etc. So as much as I could, and I was like, gosh, I was as present as I could be with Zach, knowing that he's in this dying process. See, that actually is easier than just waking up one day and finding out Tawny's dead. That's so tough on us, and so it's a completely different process for me actually in terms of dealing with it, and so as we have as doctors, we have patients that we know are going to be passing away, and then there's these patients that you just all of a sudden, oh my gosh, what? And yes, everybody, friend or patient as a doctor, you question yourself, what else could I have done? What interactions, what things?
So Corey didn't become a doctor. Remember he said that on the show? Couldn't handle it.
Yeah, exactly, because you do this a lot. It doesn't make you necessarily even good at it. It can actually make you jaded. That's a lot of doctors I know are jaded, actually. And so that compartmentalizing thing that Jeff was talking about can really become something you start to do with your emotions and things almost subconsciously. And you start doing it in other areas of like, well, instead of dealing with this, I'm going to compartmentalize it. And that's another guy thing to do. Sometimes we have to do it, everybody. I'm talking about in situations. But be very clear. This is something you don't healthily compartmentalize. You actually have to go directly into it. Most painful things, that's quite true. And that's what Stefan's going through for, when I say for all of us, he's doing it in a way that hopefully we all understand that men and women grieve equally. There's nothing about XX or XY that has anything to do with this. And so there's cultures that tell us how we're supposed to be and how manly I'm supposed to be or whatever else like that we're trying to get past right now, though. And so when you have a conversation like this, it's to realize that, wow, there's just this universal emotion that comes back through male or female, and that we this is a time for us to be supportive of each other. And then we think about it: how can I be this supportive all the time? And again, with the people I'm with right now, and just be present. And it means having a certain amount of yes. Again, Debbie's talking about the same thing, especially with kids. Oh my God. Yes. And so this is a great conversation. And we had, when you had the conversations with Zach, this is in this preparation. This is, and it's amazing in such a short time with the Colonel and Zach and Tawny, how we seem to be meeting people who are in their phases of passing. And so, yes. And we hold people in our heart. That's why your lasting, loving memories of people, keep them alive in a very real sense, everybody. And so write about them, do videos about them, etc.
Dr. G, I'm grateful that I got these videos, and I got the text messages from her and her voicemail leaving me crazy messages, you brat. And that's the way I want to remember Tawny. I want to remember us. Even I was looking at our Facebook, I go, oh my God, I have to see, your face doing this. And then I'm like, oh, why'd I write that? And then she's laughing back. Don't be jealous. And I'm glad we had our banter, because in our banter, there's a lot of love there. And you know what?
Right.
I know we got to do a hard stop, and I got to run and all that. I don't mean to leave everybody hanging, but this was a good 30-minute talk. And I think, you know what? I think maybe we'll just start doing the Doctor Zone live, and do a 30-minute. Maybe we could pre-record for Thursdays and make it visually look good. But I needed this. Okay. I needed to be selfish, and I needed to hear you live, Dr. G, and I needed to hear the voice of everybody here live.
Yeah.
I really did.
Yeah. Thank everybody out there.
I needed to hear this. I know we've been pre-recording the shows because I want it to look good, but this show, I need. You know what? Thank you all in the chat for being here and waking up with us this morning. I totally appreciate it. Thank everybody for your super chats and supporting the show. Right. And for the people that can't do those super chats, just thanks for supporting and watching and sharing this out. Thank you. I'm just glad I got a forum that I could speak with, and and Dr. G, we all came in each other's lives for some reason. There's a path here. Weird. A year I've been doing the show. Yeah. And all these good people come through, and we lost some good ones, and this is a learning. It's like my journal. This is my diary.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
It is. All right, everybody. I want everybody. You know what? Call your friend. There's a friend out there that you haven't spoken to in a long time. I got to thank a couple of people. Earl Skakel, who introduced me to Tawny, and then yesterday he goes, "Are you okay? I love you, man." And Earl's a comedian. He's a good friend of mine. Thank you, Earl, for the introduction, but thank you for a long friendship as well. I don't say it enough because we're always busting each other's chops, but I love him back. And everybody out there, please, it's never too late to say you love somebody. Hey, Brian, thank you very much for that super chat, and I mean it. And I do totally mean it from the bottom of my heart. Our thoughts and prayers go out to Tawny's family as well. And, she has beautiful girls, and their father, and be strong for them, and people out there, just be respectful and positive to each other. That's all, I guess. And on a final note is, I'm never going to stop busting chops. Dr. G, I'm looking every day. I'm going to look at your face. I'm going to watch you, and I'm going to try to see what I could get on you. That's it. I'm not going to stop. Right. Because when I stop ball busting and busting chops, that means I'm not loving you. Right. Because I bust chops, that means I love you. So everybody out there, Dr. G, I'm going after you. Ryan, I love you. Ryan Roxy, I love you. I'm going to go after you. That's it. It's the love. If I stop busting your chops, that means, Deacon forgot about me. So never forget that. I always want to be remembered with a smile. Dr. G, thank you, man. Right. Thank you for today.
All right. Thank you.
And everybody else, thank you all for being here. I think it's the hour. It's that witching hour to get out of here. Oh, Debbie, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you for that. We love you.
Thank you, Debbie.
Mwah. Love you, Debbie. Lynn, good to see you back in the chat, and we love you too. Do you love me, Stefan? I thought you said love you, Stefan, but I do love you, Lynn. Thank you for being here. Never stops. Never. I'm just glad you're back here. Karen Ritter, thank you. And everybody else, Cooking with the Kid, check out our buddy Cooking with the Kid. He has some good recipes, and I don't know if the Dr. G would approve of that. Have you seen Cooking with the Kid's recipes, Dr. G?
I haven't.
Okay, it might be some carbs. It might be, you might complain about it, but hey.
I think he uses Cheese Whiz, doesn't he?
He does. Everybody subscribe and all that good stuff. We'll see you later. And this was the Doctor Zone. We'll leave on that note. Boom.
Ask a doctor what you should do. Ask the doctor a question or two. It's all right here on Coffee Talk. It's all pain-free without the shot. All advice is free. Please call 911 if you need assistance.
That's right. And if you need anything from Middle Path Medicine, please reach out to them. middlepathmedicine.com. Correct, Dr. G?
That's us.
That's you. You got vitamins. You got all that stuff. And if you want, get him to touch you and you're in the area, just call him and he'll help you out. On that note, we love you. Bye.
It's Coffee Talk with the Tika. Nothing rhymes with that but chicken tikka. We name drop here. Stefan and all his friends.
Oh, you poor people. The ones who missed the live chat. I know. You're looking now. Oh, he went on. You know what? But click here. Click there, and click there. If you don't see the box now, they will be up there. Just click everywhere. Watch an old episode. Watch an upcoming episode. Buy a hat. Go to the store. Stop being a tight ass. Just get a hat. For you guys out there receding, I get it. I'm receding. Cover it up. You don't want to go get some scalp. Cover the scalp. Save the scalp from the sun. The sun is dangerous. Dr. G, I'm buying you a hat. All right, I love you.
Thank you.
We love you, everybody. Be good to each other. All righty?
Bye, everybody.
Bye.